Niall here with PRN. It's another video, an E38 video by popular request. Today we're taking a look at everything that's wrong with this car. I bought it 11 months ago, just at the end of September of 2015. So we're getting to the first year. We're going to be taking a look in about a month at all the repairs that I've had to put into the car. But today we're just going to be taking a look at really what's wrong with it. We're not going to talk about bodywork or paint on the outside. Those are things that sort of fall apart on any car because of, rust, getting damaged, scratched, door dings, things like that I'm not going to talk about. I'm going to talk about everything else that's inside the car that hasn't been working or is recently broken. We're going to take a look at the mechanical things that have broken, and pretty much everything that's broken on this car that once sold for $98,000 Canadian, and I bought for just under $6,000. Okay, first up on the list, you won't really be able to see much, but the front suspension is pretty much toast. Both the upper and lower control arms need to be done, the tie rods for the steering, and pretty much everything else underneath there. So that's kind of broken and really broken. The brakes are almost non-existent. The pads need to be done, sensors need to be done, and you can probably see a little bit from the rotors, they're very rusted on the edges. And same thing with the back ones. I'd say the back ones are like really bad. So yeah, that all needs to be done. And it's not something I think you'll be able to see, but the self-leveling suspension, there's a little valve. You can see kind of in the middle of your screen there, zip tied up. The little wishbone or whatever you want to call it that attaches to the suspension is broken. They're not very expensive, but finding somebody who sells them is a little bit more difficult. So that's broken, and I've just left it like that. Okay, so let's start the car up. And we're gonna go over everything that's wrong with the inside of this car. Now, I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear it from the video, but the fan, yeah, you won't be able to hear it on the video, but the fans themselves make quite a nice little noise when you're kind of cruising along. If they're going fast, you don't hear it, but then if you turn it down, there's like a little whine just around this low sweet spot. The cup holders still don't work. They were broken when I got it. Oh my God, they just came out. It hasn't been coming out. That has been broken, I think, for like 8 months now. It's never come out. Now you can see this piece, woo, that doesn't really fit. Now, I believe they're supposed to sit like this, and then, oh, and now it's broken again, it won't come out. Okay, well, whatever. The glove box is broken. I actually fixed the handle and it broke again, so it doesn't really work. You have to be very gentle with it and sort of pull it, and then the hydraulic system that keeps this up, that doesn't work either. Everything else though, believe it or not, all the buttons sort of work. The speakers are, they're okay. In terms of the center here, I know it's a cosmetic thing, but they do break. I've got a crack here and a crack here, and I believe there's a little bit more damage there. There's some damage here along the shifter. The hazard button works now, but the plastic bezel at the bottom of this that actually holds the button in place, that was broken when I bought the car, and I zip tied it together and it works. Before, you would push the button, it would go right through, and the hazards wouldn't work. So that's been fixed. And then also the little thing here, your little lock, that one is not positioned properly. So when you push it down, it's actually peeling off the chromeline trim right off the little button there. So that's a pain in the butt. Oh yeah, another little lovely shout out to my local BMW dealer that I spent, what was it, $2,000 getting this car reactivated airbag wise and getting this beautiful new cluster installed. You notice how there's nothing on the board computer? Well, they're supposed to program it. It's supposed to show something when you start the car up. They didn't do that. So thank you, BMW. Lovely service there. Up until pretty much like 2 days ago, this OBD cover was broken. These are super typical on all of them. As you can see here, it's actually pretty much intact. However, the replacement I bought, since they're so cheap and broken, this little clip was broken. I had to like JB weld them together from my other one. So that's just another lovely little piece of BMW engineering right there for you. Yeah, I've got a pretty good feeling that that motor is going to fall apart pretty soon. No matter what I do to this door, it will always squeak. You see all that lithium grease on there? Yeah, it didn't do anything. Now the backseat area is really where this car shines, or at least it's supposed to, especially if you have the 750. On mine, the quarter panels here, the shades, those don't work, they're broken. That one actually, there's nothing in there. And then on this side, this one is also broken. This used to fall out all the time until I fixed that. The metal rod that would actually support and hold the shade there, that's in the garage. And then this is also broken too. It works, but there's a crack right where this piece is. So when you go to actually use it, you have to be very gentle, and you pick it up and slide it down, but then it doesn't really fit properly. And then when you pull it back up, you have to kind of manhandle it to go back in. And then now it's broken up the top here. And then you have to like, yeah, these aren't cheap. Like, they're very, very poorly made. So anyway, the handles, these are the back ones. Now this is with the chromeline trim, and I believe with the 750, you get the wooden handles, and especially with the chromeline, you get this little plastic chrome here. The ones in the front obviously are used more, and I think this one's got a crack in it, and I know the driver's side has quite a little crack in it. You can't see it, but you know, something. And then these lights, this one works, but the one back here is kind of finicky. Works right now, but sometimes it doesn't, just kind of does whatever it wants. But believe it or not, the rest of the back seat works. Everything's pretty good back here. The vents work, the heat seats work. All these little buttons here, your cigarette ashtray and your little garbage compartment, and these bad boys. Now, the one thing that really doesn't work, and you're not going to be able to see it, but back here where the speakers are for the DSP subwoofer, they are completely destroyed. And it could have been my fault when I took them out originally to test and see if they worked, but the little housing around them is really falling apart. Now, if you're the ultra executive sitting in the back of this car, you might want to get a drink. It works sometimes. There we go. Woohoo! And then these are just garbage. You could put like a little cup, a Coca-Cola can in there, and you're good to go. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Now, this is not really a typical thing, but it's just more of a problem that I have with BMW. When this car was new, the original owner had the airbags deactivated in the back. I took it to BMW to get them reactivated, and either they only did one of them on one side, or they forgot to take off the sticker. So the passenger side, which is the bank one of the engine, the catalytic converter has failed in the sense that there's no power for the car. You can hear that there's a little bit of an issue when you're trying to get on the highway. You go over 4,500 RPM, and the car will seize up. It'll start misfiring and shut off the cylinders. And I also will get a check engine light if the car starts up and tries to do something before the secondary air pump is finished doing its thing. This thing also leaks oil. Now, I'm actually surprised it doesn't burn oil. I've never had to put any in, but if you come and take a look at my garage floor here, that's all from this car. It's usually a drop or so. It's actually been pretty good the last little while, and I'm wondering if it's just because I've been so bad at the maintenance recently that the car hasn't had an oil change in so long that it's just gunked up, and it's gunked up wherever it's leaking from, and the oil just isn't coming out anymore. Well, there you have it. That's pretty much everything that's wrong with my BMW 740iL. Does that mean I don't love it? No, I like this car a lot. Despite all the problems, despite all the maintenance it needs, it's really not going to cost that much. I mean, I was able to get the parts A little shout out to Beamer Heaven in Milton, Ontario. They had all the parts I needed for the suspension and the fan, and not the brakes though, those I'm gonna buy new, but the catalytic converter was really the most important one. I was able to get all the parts for like 20% of what the new price would be for them. Aftermarket new price, these are all OEM parts too. So I'm super excited to put them all on, put it all back together. Does this car eat up money? I don't think so. Like I said, I mean, I've put 40,000 kilometers. When we do the wrap-up video at the end of the month, we're gonna be talking really about how much I've put into the car over the course of a year. And it hasn't really cost me that much. $6,000 new for me. And then even after all this, with all the repairs, maybe $4 grand. So $10,000 to be able to run this car for a year. And it really has all the features that a new car would have at the base level in terms of parking sensors, navigation, rear and front heated seats, sunshades, which most new cars don't have still. You have to go up to like an SUV with like a nice trim package for it. So overall, I mean, this car still blows me away every time I get into it, and it works, and it just continues to go and go and go. And yeah, there's problems, but you show me a car that's 20 years old or close, this one's what, 15, that doesn't have problems. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions about this car, please let me know. Just leave a comment below. Don't forget to like the video too, and subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Twitter @PerpetualRadio, and follow our Facebook page as well, which is facebook.com/PerpetualRadio. Thank you for all the comments that you leave, letting us know that you want to see more E38 videos. Like I said, at the end of the month, we're going to be doing a follow-up in terms of how the car has been over the last year, and I'm hoping to get some more videos done too. If I can figure out what's going on with that front fan, we're going to do a video about that. And once I get the brakes for the front and the rear, I'll do a video on that as well. So if you're thinking about doing the brakes yourselves, it'll give you an idea of really what's involved in order to get it done. So we're going to be doing that. So stay tuned, and you'll see some new stuff from us very soon.